Good morning. Welcome to Options Center. This is a members video on Tesla. It is Friday, August 23rd, 2024. We're just going to update us here on a short trade setup and a bearish outlook. Okay, so we've been talking about, there's two different ways you can kind of look at this, but Tesla is looking very, very corrective. So bulls are going to say this is a big triangle for possible wave 4, and you continue higher. With the incoming Fed pivot we talked about today, this is huge. And, from a traditional technical analysis, it's as simple as this. We break to the upside, and it's bullish. And something's probably happening different in the market. I know that they can diverge, but it's not very typical. The other is that it breaks down from this triangle, and we get a possible A, B, C correction. And you better believe I'll be buying Tesla going into trend lines, depending on, what is happening in the overall market, and looking for anything under 100 down to about 70, 75. I mean, that's a great buying opportunity, in my opinion. I don't really think Tesla's going anywhere, but I do think a correction is due, and we're looking for this to be an ABC. Okay, so that's the gist of it. But let's just go into pretty quick. We should make this under 10 minutes, and just a fairly quick situation. So just with the moving averages on the monthly time frame, we're hitting the 50. Okay, so it's a rising 50, but we're hitting it from underneath, and I think this might be the end of this move. So far we're holding over the sideways moving averages here, but that doesn't say anything. We've been trading around them, and that's what eventually makes them go sideways. So we're going to have this huge volume node here. So if we stay on top of 200, is going to be kind of our line in the sand here. 200 is going to have a huge volume node right there. A lot of trading for over years there. So let's go down to the weekly. Give us a look at this from a different perspective. And you can see on the weekly time frame, look at that trend line, beautiful trend line below. But, really, it's going to be looked at as very devastating with price action if it gets down here. And look, if depending on how fast this happens, this trend line is all the way down near the 60 area, and some support there as well at about 60. That's a devastating move for such a huge large cap stock that's part of the S&P. It's going to be a lot of influence there if this takes action. Now, looking from this perspective, we have a triangulation still, but you can see now the moving averages. Look at that 200. That's very, very bearish underneath there. It's still rising, but the other ones are moving sideways. So again, this is just showing sideways action, but underneath this 200, and we're starting to curl with it. So you see we holding it, getting under it, back testing, and now I think this continues to the downside. So I think I don't know how easy it'll look looking at this in the bear perspective. Yeah, maybe I might go down to the daily too, but overall this is pretty much what we're looking for here. So I didn't need to duplicate that. We're looking for an ABC. Kind of simple as that. All right, let's go to the daily, and then I'll show you. So on the daily time frame, we were looking for some more moves, like lengthier moves, but Tesla moves fast, and I know I have some price and time relationships, but we'll see where price is at that time. With this one here at the 7.6, we clearly got this one for a top. So we'll take that one off. And this is really why I think this triangle might be done here. I have these moves down and up. I think that just happened here, down and up. I know it's really getting tight in price action. So we can kind of take those out. And this could play out a little bit more depending on what the market's doing. This being maybe we have to come down here for the D still, or the D could be done here. All right. So that's kind of like the risk that we're looking at. If this D is not done, if we hold some support here and you see that the market is coming into support for that first wave down or so, maybe we still have an E to come up to, and Tesla will bounce there. So as long as we're inside this triangle that I drew out here, we still have possibilities of bouncing back and forth. So keep in mind, D might be done. It might be done here, but let's keep this in mind. I know I just took those drawings out of there. I'm talking myself through this, so maybe I should have left them on there. But let's look for D and E, or this being done and moving down. Either way, I think we're getting a downward move here. We're coming into the 50% retracement of this move right now. And the reason why we're still looking at this being a triangle is because we're getting all these three-way moves. First of all, this huge one looks like an A from in the red, higher degree A. And now that we're inside B, the higher degree B, I think we're getting a triangle, because you have a three-wave move here for A, nice large three-wave move here for B, three-wave move for C, and that's why I kind of think that we're not done here yet, but I think we're going to go down. But this is also a little triangle in there, so this looks like a three-wave move. All right, it doesn't look like an impulse 1, 2, because the other scenario would be that this maybe is an A, but now we get our B, and we're talking a 1, 2, and then impulse down. I don't think that's quite the situation yet. All right. And by the time Tesla's done going sideways here with these large tradable moves, I think that the market will start to head lower faster as this completes and starts to break down from this. So that will be a good, first hand. Tesla kind of leads a little bit. And so I think once Tesla breaks down, I think we'll be in sort of a wave 3 of 3 on the market going down too. I think most of the stocks will be moving together at that point. So really just another move here. So three-wave move, we got our little correction, three-wave move up. So let's kind of look at a lower time frame, see if we can get a trade in here. And I think it's where we're at right now. So this is still the wave D, in my opinion. I know I started off with saying this might be done, but we still have to think that either way, we're looking for downside. So it's an A, B, C, down here, and the triangle ends here. So you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it's an ABC for possible A. And then we correct it into B, into the 50%. And we had the 162% extension from this AB here, and for the C wave. So I think that's complete. We'll take that out up to the 50%, and now we're starting to get our impulse wave down. So I don't think we're going to make a new high here, which it just tells me that the Qs are just so close to being done, and Tesla looks like it's going to lead us to the downside, especially if it's done here. I know that we have a three-wave move to the downside, so of course the risk is that we go up to the 62% retracement. If price needs to go higher in the market, or the Qs need to go a little bit higher, that will be a good showing of that. So if we make, we get back above, if we get above 50% here on the 226, you better believe we're going here, in that the market is going to grind higher or something like that is happening. I think we have a good high in, and we're starting to get maybe a 1-2, 1-2 setup, and going into next week, it's going to be a pretty large wave 3 heading down, because we're looking for an impulse wave now to the downside. Even if it comes from here, we're looking for an impulse wave down into those. We'll put a kind of a price on it here. Go back to the daily. And if this happens, ABC should come down to maybe the 160 zone, maybe just a little under there. And we can kind of zoom in a little bit more and get a price target from the top of A to the bottom of A. It'll be the start of B. and we'll project from the top of B. If the top is in, we're kind of holding underneath that 50. You see we're giving us a little problem here. So the 100% brings us all the way down to the 140. The 786% of this move brings us to the 158, about that zone that we're looking for. So the 786 extension of wave A. So if this has to go up further for, into the 60% or so, test that gap, that could adjust. We'll have to adjust it with it, but keep those targets in mind. It doesn't have to get down there, but that's what I think will happen. I think it's less probable for this one to make any real difference. 62. So that just kind of makes sense for things. And then we should get a bounce, and we'll probably be looking for some sort of bounce in the market at that point too, where the market, if it ekes out a new high, then we'll be looking for the first wave one down, and that will be signified for signaled by Tesla there. So we have a nice trade here. If you have some wiggle room, we're looking for the downside from either this point or just above, but I think this is a good high here for us, especially with the Fed pivot happening today. Going into next week, things should be pretty negative, getting our retracement that we should that we were looking for in the market anyway. So that's it, you guys. Hope this helps, and we'll talk to you soon.